performing at many weddings in the months to come. I'm joined today by a very special woman, Michelle Savig, who is here with her son Peter and her daughter Annika. Her wife Julie is where moms mostly are in the soccer field today, or baseball field. But we want to hear from Michelle. Michelle?
Annika, you can come with me too. So I wrote things out because that's easier for me. But I want to let you know that in August of 1999, my partner and I bought our first home together in Edgewater, in the 48th Ward. At the time, we didn't know anything about the neighborhood or home ownership, and we had no plans to start a family yet. We did know, however, that we wanted to have our relationship blessed and recognized. We're both church people. I'm a Lutheran pastor, and she's a pastor's kid. So we asked our church to host a wedding-like ceremony. Back in 1999, people weren't talking openly about gay marriage or about marriage equality. We were still pretty closeted ourselves since my career was at risk if I came out publicly. And neither of us had ever seen two women or two men get married. We asked Ebenezer Lutheran Church, also in the neighborhood, to do a blessing of our covenantal relationship. It was a wonderful evening filled with love and laughter, but still, if people ever asked if I was married, I would answer no. And I still marked single on any government form that I filled out. Fast forward about 12 years to 2011, and the scene is quite different. Since that 1999 blessing of our covenantal relationship, our family has been expanded to include 3 beautiful children. And though we felt married, we still had to mark single on the form when each of our children were born. And I had to give up the children that I birthed so that Julie and I could legally co-adopt them together. Marriage equality has been talked about more and more, but as civil unions, not as real marriages. Our hearts were full of gratitude for what then Representative Harry Osterman and others were doing in the House to make civil unions a reality for couples in Illinois. All right. Woo! With Harry and several other neighbors and friends, we had a very public ceremony again. This time at my own church, with the blessing of my own bishop and other church leaders. Our kids participated in this ceremony, and we celebrated this union that now had significant legal rights and responsibilities attached to it. I even changed my last name to reflect the family that we have legally become. But we still aren't married. And whenever someone asks if I'm married, I say, well, yes and no. It's complicated. But now, starting today, this day, June 1st, 2014, I'm going to be calling Julie my wife. All right. Woo! Woo! I'm going to be calling Julie and introducing her proudly when I say this is my wife, Julie. No qualifiers, my real wife. We also promised family and friends that there would be no more weddings. But certainly there is still a lot for us to celebrate. We may not be having another wedding, but we are definitely in full celebration mode as marriage equality becomes a reality today in Illinois for all couples. Those who have many years together living in covenantal relationships, and those who are just starting out getting married. Today is the day we give thanks for all the hard work of those who have fought fervently for marriage and would not concede that civil unions were good enough. Come on. As a wife, a mother, and a neighbor who lives in the 48th Ward, I must say thank you to Alderman Harry Osterman, to Representative Greg Harris, and to Senator Heather Staines for your tireless work to ensure marriage equality for everyone. Thank you. Thank you so that our family families no longer feel like they have to go through a whole long story of history about how they were married and not yet, so that we no longer need to mark single when in fact we've been married longer than most of the people we know, so that our families have the legal protections that may be necessary when we start a family, when our loved ones are in the hospital, or when we do say that final goodbye. For we do plan to be together until death parts us. Harry, you asked me to say a few words about what marriage equality means to me. And what can I really say? Except that it means the world to me and to my family. Thank you.
Glad I didn't have to follow Michelle. Well, she and her wife, Julie, are not going to be having any weddings. There's going to be lots and lots of weddings in the 40th ward this summer. So I want to bring up someone special now to lead us in a prayer as a community. Pastor Carol Hill is from Epworth Church, and she is going to lead us in a blessing.
With you and pray a blessing over all marriage for all couples. I come representing the Edgewater community of religious leaders, and unfortunately none of them are able to be here, so you've got me. So Edgewater is such a beautiful and diverse community, and so we have all sorts of religious traditions here. And for my tradition, today is the day we turn and thank God. For some other traditions it may be Allah, for some others it's Yahweh or Elohim, and the Great One and Holy Spirit. I invite you, whomever that greater God is for you, or if it's not a God, it's just a time of personal reflection, I invite you into a quiet time of contemplation and prayer. Would you join me? Holy One, thank